Hey everybody, we're back on Weekly Wellness Wednesday with Jess Alvarez Parfrey and Ana Rosa Rizo-Centino with Madre. So how you feeling today, Jess?
What day is it? It is Wednesday. Thank God for Weekly Wellness Wednesdays. Today I'm feeling like excited about some work that is coming up. I'm also feeling a little bit uncertain in a lot of ways too. So there's a lot of like promise and potential as always and a lot of uncertainty right now. So that's how I'm feeling. How about you, Ana Rosa? How are you doing? What's going on in your world?
A whole lot.
Yeah.
It's just a reminder of how much further we have to go to advance the movement. But
Yeah.
I just feel lucky to be building it with folks like you and the folks that generally call in, Teresa, Julie, Julia, Crystal, Simone. We have a lot of great people who are part of our network.
We do. We're absolutely blessed with like a wealth of just talent, skill, vision. We owe it to ourselves and to our community to realize this dream, and it has many different paths. And I guess that's the thing for me. It's been like balancing patience and like needing to slow down with like pushing and urgency, because both are needed. And it's almost like playing a piece of music. It's like, what comes first? What's the feel of it? What's the momentum we're gaining? So we wanted to talk about some tarot cards because, we're about that, or at least I am. And I'm glad that.
And you have made me about that too.
Okay.
Before we dive in, can I just say happy birthday again, Chelsea, because it was just her birthday. And she sent us these cute little gifts.
No, they were so sweet.
Even though it was her birthday, she sent these to us.
I have immense admiration for Chelsea. Like, I'm grateful that the universe has allowed me to like be in her orbit. She's a powerhouse, and I love and appreciate her and look forward to like getting to know her more. And I'm glad for spaces like Que Madre. So yeah, we were gonna talk about a card pool that I did. I think it was like 2 days ago. And do you mind if I share the news about the fund?
Yeah.
I think we should talk about it because this is a real concern in the movement. It's like scarce resources, how it's allocated. Short story. We had applied for funding through the fund, and we did not make it for this selection cycle. But I just want to give a shout out to the staff there. They're extremely helpful, and it comes down to like limits in terms of resources and who gets what, and there's immense need right now. So that was kind of a bummer. So anyway, I had pulled cards, and in that card pool, let's see, we started with the Rejoicer, Woman of Cups, and cups are emotional kind of cards, right? Like this need to celebrate. And then the Tower card, that's been lurking around a lot of cards that I've been pulling lately. The Tower card is about transformation, like head to toe, spiritual, system, like all of it. The scary part is it requires you to take a leap of faith and to jump off the tower, and to have almost like a sense of trust that things are going to work out. And it's also about removing things that don't need your time, energy, and they are just weighing you down. It's about excision. It's about jumping off and letting go. The other card I had pulled is Nurturing, which I think is extremely relevant to the dialogue we've been like building here around this idea of a culture of care, what that looks like. And then the Disappointment card, the Five of Cups. And I sent this to Ana Rosa after we found out. I'm like, dang, no, this makes sense. The other card that came after Disappointment, which was interesting, was Synergy. Synergy is about how do we leverage our gifts, our resources, our know-how, and how do we integrate. And then because I needed some clarification, I pulled 3 more cards. We have an 8-card spread. And the last 3 were Integrity, Harvest, and Fulfillment. And no joke, I've been pulling the Tower and Fulfillment a lot. And it's about, again, transformation and then finding that fulfillment and that peace. So that's kind of what it means, or at least that's how I was reading it and kind of applying it. Like, we just got this news about the fund, and like, it was kind of like a little bit of a blow, but I think there's immense opportunity, and I'm thinking about the work we're doing with Cooperation Santa Barbara, like so many talented folks. Like, if we figure out how to bring this together, this could be huge, and I think we will. But yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Yes, if you are interested in cooperative economics and building an economy based on solidarity, please let us know. Our next meeting is tonight, so by the time you hear this on the radio, it will have already happened, but never fear, we'll have another one very soon.
Yes. And we do record the meetings, and we do keep minutes. So for anyone, again, we can get you up to speed because we need everybody. I don't know. What else do you want to talk about today, Ana Rosa? Do you need to vent?
Glad you pulled those apart,
Inspiration?
because now it does make a lot of sense. I think we're in this phase of transition and transformation. So
Yeah.
I trust it. And I know that what we stand for is just. So can't settle for less than that.
No, we can't. And I think we need to be, I've been thinking about this. I almost feel like we need to be okay with the fact that we're going to upset some people and we're going to disrupt some spaces, because it's that serious.
Yeah.
And it's like figuring out how to do that well in a way that doesn't sacrifice your mental health and well-being, and feeling like you're actually building towards something. And that's the question, is how do you do it? Yeah.
I did get flowers today.
Ooh, those are beautiful.
They're from my sister.
Okay. Did you ever find out who sent you those mystery flowers? I saw this
My
making the rounds.
husband thought it was a secret admirer, but it was actually my brother.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yes, brother sending flowers. That's adorable. I love that. Your brother's awesome. He has been doing some of the editing work, and
Yeah.
he's really been helping us out with the production end of Madre, which has been amazing. So shout out.
How's your family? Oh, Enrique.
Enrique. My family's doing good. They were so sweet for Easton's birthday, which was on May 3rd. They drove up and they like dropped gifts at the driveway and brought him a little cake, and they're doing good. My mom is like, she has really bad asthma, so she's in that more sensitive group. So she's just bored.
Yeah.
She's being careful and staying home, obviously, like really more so, and she's just getting real bored. So that's her struggle.
I'm so glad you set up that Zoom for Easton on his birthday. Gloria had a lot of fun.
It was really sweet to see her on there, and Miss Victoria, who joined us, she loved Gloria. She thought she was adorable.
Oh yeah, who was that?
So Miss Victoria is an elder in the community that I met while working at the American Indian Health and Services Clinic. And what can I say about her? I can say so much, but she is one of those folks that really just a senior citizen. She wants to give back to her community, and she's got some really important things to say, and I'd love to have her on the show. So anyway, she's like adopted us, and we love checking in on her, and she's in school pursuing a master's right now. And yeah, I just really admire her, and she loves Easton. So
that's awesome.
To make sure she's doing okay. She lives by herself, and there are a lot of seniors out there that need extra care and attention right now. We can't forget about them. And I know KZAA has been doing some really important work, making sure seniors are connected.
Yeah, doing compassion calls, just reaching out to them and letting them know that we're here for them, and taking deliveries of food straight to their homes, so that they don't have to worry about finding a distribution site, especially since they are in the age group with the higher risk. So just trying to make things as easy as they can be for them during this difficult time. But speaking of your mom, I was just thinking, is she doing any natural remedies? Because with asthma, there's a bunch. One thing that definitely helped me is cutting out dairy when I have flare-ups.
Dairy. She pretty much avoids dairy except for cheese, like everybody's weakness. But yeah, dairy, that's a good one. What other remedies do you have, Ana Rosa?
Let me check with my brother because he has tried them all and now he like never has asthma. So
Oh,
yeah.
that would be great to know. That'd be a really fun thing. Aspirations here is to put some time and energy into our website so we have a a home base to have all of our shows, and then also some additional content we like to add in, like I think of remedies and recipe
Remedios.
section. Yeah, remedios and recetas, and that would be awesome.
That sounds really great.
Yay!
What have you got going on today?
I got like it's 5:27, so in a few minutes we're both going to be transitioning over to the Cooperation Santa Barbara space. So I'm really excited about that. What else have I got going? I have so many like little projects that like I'll get an inspiration to
Little.
write. Yeah, like they're all over the place, but I've been building and slowly like chipping away at them for a long time. And I know I have like a bunch of stuff that's going to come out like I started writing more, but I just need to do it every day, remind myself, even if it's just for a few minutes, just keep it a regular habit.
Writing?
So that's what I'm doing. Writing, yeah. Some different like pieces I want to write on something called like white solipsism. So,
What is that?
and I posted an article on my Facebook page that I think is really helpful. It references George Yancey, who is a Black philosopher. It references his book, Look a White. And so it's meant to like provoke and to encourage thought and reflection about how whiteness permeates so many spaces that we forget about it, but how it is truly damaging to communities of color, folks of color who are trying to engage, especially in institutionalized space. So anyway, I've just been reflecting on the white gaze and like white supremacy, my interaction with this concept of whiteness in my life. And so I've been wanting to write about it.
It's everywhere, especially in Santa Barbara County.
Yeah, I mean, it's like this real. Like we would dress up nice just to come here because we knew you get treated better, other things like that. Like those are just like little things that folks of color like you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, it has that vibe, and I think some more open, honest conversations about race in this county, I think they're going to be really needed. Like they have to happen. We're way overdue. We need to have more of them.
It's just pervasive. Like I've never been in a place that caters to that population more than Santa Barbara County.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of white wealth here too. That like there are billionaires that literally live in our county. So yeah, all of that, got to take it apart, take a look at the housing industry here in Santa Barbara County, real estate prices. Yeah, shout out to Cause for all of the amazing work that they do around those conversations.
So City Council just passed an extension to the eviction moratorium. So that's good news.
That is
I
good.
was at the City Council meeting yesterday and spoke on behalf of CASA,
How
as well as a bunch of other people like Isabella from COLA, who else? Alejandra from CAUSE. I think Kim might have spoken from Showing Up for Racial Justice.
Okay. I mean, that's good news. I mean, how can we push this further too? Like the talk around the rent strike. I kind of lost touch with that over the past couple weeks, so I'm not sure where the energy is. Are there any updates on that, on the rent strike?
I know they're meeting regularly, but I have missed their meetings, so I don't know really what the latest update is.
Okay, I'll have to check in on that.
We should invite Isabella to be part of these conversations.
Heck yeah. Is she on our list for Cooperation SB?
If she's not, she should be, so we should double check that.
Okay. That might be a good question for tonight. Like we have a lot of the folks' email addresses that, have been interacting in the space or have been invited, but just getting another list of folks that need to be brought in into the space. Like having the group kind of talk about that might be interesting.
Yeah, I want to have a whole like session or episode specifically interviewing the folks at Strike University
Yeah.
to find out about all the stuff they're doing, because they're doing a lot of work right now. And I would love to spotlight them.
Where did Strike University come out of? Is this an SB thing, or was it across the UC system that it emerged?
I believe it's across the UC system. So this is what the TA COLA effort has evolved into.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's dope.
Do they have a website?
They do, and they have really good content.
Heck yeah. Okay, I'm gonna plug them on Facebook.
They just posted the panel that I was on around environmentalism and mutual aid.
Nice. University. Very cool.
So what should we put on our website? Speaking of websites. Recetas, remedios.
A blog. I think
Okay.
there was a suggestion, maybe like a rotating blog.
There you go.
It'd be cool to have folks, like different folks or different orgs do like que Madre takeovers, so they like get to run the social media or something like that.
Yeah, that would be great. I love that. And if you're listening and we haven't mentioned something you would like to see on the website, let us know.
Please send us messages through Insta. We'll check those out and take your suggestions.
And as soon as we're back in the radio station, we can start opening up the phone lines to hear from you directly. It's just kind of sketchy, you know, putting our personal cell phones out on blast. So once we're in the station, you can have the KZAA radio station phone number.
Perfect.
I love your energy, Jess.
Thank you. I'm trying my best. I love your energy too, Ana Rosa. I really admire and I appreciate seeing like flowers in your hair.
It's what I do to cheer myself up.
Yeah, it's an important thing. Like small, beautiful things, like they matter and they do have a lot of power. So any intention you give back to yourself is important.
Yeah, I mean, on Monday, on Mother's Day, no, Sunday, which was Mother's Day, I realized how little I'm giving to myself right now. And that next day was the 11th, right? And I was like, oh, I'm 2 months away from turning 40. I should probably figure out how to take care of myself by the age of 40.
Let's take care of ourselves. Yes, it's an important thing to remember and it's an easy thing to forget, especially when we're doing so many different kinds of work and so many different kinds of labor. So
How have you been taking care of yourself? Oh, I love you too.
Yeah, I would just love you, appreciate you. Please, you're a beautiful flower. Water yourself, give yourself the sun you need. Do it.
How have you been taking care of yourself lately?
I've kind of been how do I put this? Like the phrase like reclaiming my time, Maxine Waters is like phrase is like a mantra that I have in my head. And so I try really hard to again balance this need to like be productive and responsive to friends and like projects that I'm involved in, but also remembering that if I'm in a state of anxiety and freaking out and I can't breathe while I'm trying to be productive, it's actually not helpful to me or to the work that I'm doing in the long term. So just like taking lots of breaks, being very fluid with time, trying to be just present as much as possible, which can be really hard, especially when social media, like I'm like trying to check to stay up to date, but then I can get caught up and sucked in and like read an article that just like sends me into a depression or makes me really panicky. So just being outside and grounding myself in different ways has been really necessary, and doing little things like I'm going to brush out my hair and like put in a deep moisturizer or a face mask, like small things like that also have been really helpful.
Yeah, I see that beautiful tree swaying in the breeze behind you. That must be calming to be able to look out at your look out of your window at it. Um, and you know, you
Yes.
hear that saying a lot, you cannot fill anybody's cup from an empty cup. And while like I got it theoretically, I think that I thought that I had a bottomless cup. And so that's how I was operating. And
Yeah.
I think a couple of days ago I realized pretty close to the bottom of that cup. So trying to figure out like how to refill it,
Yeah.
so that I can pour out to others in ways that are inspiring, because I know other people have done that for me, and that's why I'm still here in the movement.
Yeah. Like we need each other, and we need to just remind one another to care for ourselves too. And it's hard because we're fighting a system, at least from my perspective. Like I always thought of it as just being this thing that promotes selfishness and greed and like me. But for us, especially for women of color, I want to say this: like self-care is resistance. It is fighting back. So just remember that.
Yeah, I think that's the only way I can really engage in it, as an act of resistance.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I find everything else to do except that.
Yeah. I mean, think of like if we really sit and like think about the system that we are fighting against, what it was built on, what it's predicated on. I mean, it's our inability to live, to be our full selves, to realize our full potential. And I mean, it's horrible. So yeah, any small thing that we're doing to feed ourselves, to take care of ourselves, remind ourselves that we're worthy, we're loved, reminding our children about these things, like that is the work. And I think Chelsea, she puts it really beautifully when she also talks about like raising revolutionary kids is badass. That is the movement too, you know.
Yeah, and yesterday I was on the panel that the MCC had. It was also about mutual aid. Um, and there was a speaker that said something that resonated with me that I cannot get out of my head, and that is that community is a verb.
Mm, I saw
And
that on your Facebook page. That's
yeah, and I feel like now
perfect.
that's all I can think about in how I'm organizing. Like, does this reflect that? Um,
Yeah.
how are
Yeah.
we building it?
How are we building it? And I think, and thank you for saying this because it's true. It's also why like I feel we're friends and like I love you. Like we're talking about this importance of understanding how all of these different pieces of the work fit together, as well as doing the different like categories of the work, if that makes any sense to people. um and that's the space where I live, and I often, to be perfectly honest, in a lot of group spaces feel like I'm not, I don't know, I can feel like I don't resonate fully with any one kind of compartmentalized space, and it can feel a little bit alienating, but I know that the perspective is extremely important and valuable. But I also don't want to be like, this is not about me and like how I want things to work, but I also know it's like a thing we should be aware of. I don't know if you're relating to what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's a big puzzle, and we can see
Yeah,
how the pieces fit. And
yeah,
by putting the pieces together, we are that much stronger.
exactly. Yeah. And that's the hard part. It's like, how do we put all the pieces together? Because it can look, you can create many different pictures, you know, based on who's invited in to do that arrangement and design, and what does the experience feel like for those participating in these spaces. How are we making decisions, all of that stuff. That's the work.
And that requires this beautiful relinquishment of power and control. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm really feeling like these days is like there's so many people obsessed with personal power and control. And
Mm-hmm.
we really want to give it to the community, as a collective. And I just feel so excited about that prospect, you know, through this model that we're trying to build, or expand on as far as Cooperation Jackson and now Cooperation Santa Barbara,
Mm-hmm.
an economy built around solidarity.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's built around solidarity, and it's like solidarity in the sense that like it's balancing the community. You need the community. You don't make sense without the community. And then at the same time, the community needs to be made up of individuals that feel like they have access to the tools and resources that they need. that are allowed to be their full selves and to be given the space that they need to heal as well. And that's a spiritual component, and I don't know if that's talked about enough. It kind of gets lumped in when we talk about mental health and wellness, and May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so it's important to talk about these reasons why we feel our anxiety, feelings of things like imposter syndrome, when we're doing this kind of organizing work, and just make space for everybody, you know?
Isn't May also Asian Heritage Month?
I feel terrible that I can't say yes right off the bat. So
I
let me
think I saw that somewhere, and it just made me think of like
Asian
how
Heritage Month.
much more we need to uplift Asian organizations that exist in Santa Barbara County, like the Pan Asian Network, because they have a lot of folks who are really cool.
Definitely. And yes, it is Asian and Pacific Islander American Heritage Month. Nice.
And as far as the movement with the farm worker movement, you know, it definitely was an effort not only of Mexicans, but also Japanese and Filipino farm workers. So that gets left out sometimes, and we need to make sure that folks don't get left out of that history and legacy.
Heck yeah. I mean, I just go back to the Rainbow Coalition that was forming, like you read about that. How do we continue that work and like bring back that solidarity? And there's a lot to be said about that. It became threatening, this idea that folks could come together. That's always been the most dangerous, thing for our systems of power, is the idea that we could actually come together and organize.
Yeah, and it's a trip to me how it's not only threatening to like white reactionary people, but apparently also white liberal people.
Yes. Yes.
Like
Read
so
that
threatening.
article I
They freak out.
posted. Yeah, it's true. It's so deeply embedded, and it's hard. I'll quote literature, but I feel like I have a right to kind of say this. I feel like it's hard for white folks to understand, this idea of racial difference, like fully and intimately, in the way that communities of color have had to cope and manage and code and everything to just survive. So we have to have those conversations. And again, in Santa Barbara especially, we need to have those conversations.
Yeah, it just gives me hope that there are organizations like Showing Up for Racial Justice, which are, white organizations that use their privilege for good and to analyze what, racism does to everyone, and how they can fight back and not only be tolerant, right, but actually anti-racist.
Absolutely. We're going to need all of our allies to win this fight, honestly. We do need our allies.
Yeah, I'm glad they expanded to Santa Barbara, because before they were just in Ventura. So I got to meet some of the Santa Barbara Surge people as part of the Earth Day to May Day campaign that we just had, and they're all awesome people.
Very cool. So new Santa Barbara chapter for Surge, or is it still one?
They're pretty new. They're building, I don't know exactly how new, but I know they're newer than the Ventura one.
Okay, awesome. Good to know. Yeah, I was sharing with Ana Rosa, we need to have like a power map of like all the amazing orgs, because when we truly see where we all are, I mean, I know it gets me really excited. I'm just like, oh my gosh, we're all here. We're all here.
We're making it. We're going to make that map.
Yeah.
Tonight maybe, or another time?
Well, we did some really cool asset mapping to start for our first meeting, and we're going to continue to build off of that. And my hope would be to have like a digital interactive version for folks so it could be part of the toolkit. Yeah, like as we're doing this work, I think we should leave behind useful tools for those that want to continue building on this.
I'm so excited.
Yay. So it's 5:45. We want to give ourselves enough time to kind of transition to this other space. Is there anything we want to kind of, I don't know, what are our final thoughts here?
I don't know. Well, the last episode we talked about building up to Mother's Day, and we kind of sort of recapped Mother's Day. Anything left to say on that, or we want to peace out for the night?
Anything to say about Mother's Day? Just this really cool org that's on my radar that I've told you about, Madre, or Madre Speaks. And they invite folks to, like, how could we change the world if we all thought like mothers, like caregivers and caretakers. So I would love to talk more about them on our website. So we're building, we're growing.
Maybe we can invite somebody from their org to come and join us on an episode.
That would be amazing. Yes, I'd love to get together a panel. I think that might be a goal we should set for ourselves. What do you think?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
All right. Well, it was another lovely conversation. Thank you. Weekly Wellness Wednesdays, keeping me sane.
Indeed. We'll see you next Wednesday, and let us know if you want to join in on the Zoom, and we can send that to you. Just direct message our Instagram, which is QMWWW5. Enjoy your evening.
Thanks, y'all. Bye.
Bye.